Hello and happy Epiphany. We are now 13 days from Christmas Day, and this day represents a bit of a transition, if you will, where we move from this feast of celebrating Christmas and Christ's birth and the new arrival to now the sending and the sharing of that light and life and warmth and goodness with the world. The traditions around Epiphany come from the story in the Gospel of Matthew about the Magi who come from afar. They're following a star and they come to honor the birth of the Christ child. Now, there are numerous wonderful traditions across the world and different ways that story takes life and comes alive for people. And so I won't get into the details, but I just want to offer a couple reflections. So the first thing that comes to mind is that deep in the biblical tradition, from God's covenant with Abram who became Abraham, to all the way to the book of Acts and even in the book of Revelation, we have this idea of God's ever expanding welcome. And so God blesses a particular people in a particular place at a particular time. But that is meant to grow and spread and be shared throughout the whole earth. And we have this beautiful reminder of that with the story of the Magi at Christ's birth, or when Jesus was a toddler, right, for all intents and purposes, right? And so even then, Christ's advent in the world, Christ's presence in the world, the ministry of the person of Jesus was a gift for the world. And the second thing I'd like to highlight about this story is the difference in the way the Gospel of Matthew shares the birth of Jesus and Jesus' origin in the Gospel of Luke. The Gospel of Luke features angels going and gathering together the shepherds, whereas the Gospel of Matthew has Magi seeking the Messiah by following a star. And so when we consider both of those, or we have both of those, we have both the way that the divine, the angelic, the holy pursues us, but then also the way where when we perceive the presence of the holy, we respond by pursuing that. And so as we move out of this Christmas, this time of feasting and receiving and giving, we're also invited into an era where we're not just laying back and receiving, but maybe it may be time for us to seek, for us to activate our agency, for us to step out in faith towards whatever that life that God has given to you might be calling you towards. And so as we go now from this time of feasting to what you might consider a more regular time, let us hold both, that we are beloved and pursued, and that we are inspired and empowered to pursue, to seek. And let us go forth with the strength and the courage of knowing both our earthly belovedness, our earthly goodness, and our heavenly blessedness, as we go into a new year, into a new season, and into that new life that God wants to co-create with us. So happy Christmas, happy Epiphany. Go in peace and God bless.